Welcome back to the Fifth Quarter Podcast. I'm your host, the Bluff City Cowboy, Marcus Jones, coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee. Well, today we are not in Memphis, Tennessee. I am coming to you live from the Hyatt House Hotel in Dallas, Texas. We are gearing up for the Cowboys game today, and I brought a special guest on with me for this episode. You guys hear me talk about my guy Jeff all the time during the show, so now you guys get to put a face to the name. Welcome, my guy Jeffrey Dunnigan, joining us on the Fifth Quarter Podcast this morning. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing good, Marcus. What's up, Cowboy Nation? How we doing?
Yeah, I see the views are starting to go up pretty quick. I wanted to give you guys a pregame show because I promised it. So we're gonna give you guys all the last minute news and notes leading up to this week's game before we go over to the stadium and take care of business.
Oh
So
yeah.
once again, if you guys are going to the game today and you're watching, get in the comments. Let me know where you'll be hanging out at before the game, and hopefully we can link up, take a couple photos, and just talk about this beatdown we're gonna put on the Giants.
Oh yeah, definitely beat down.
All right, so let's get those comments up. Let's get those likes up. If you're watching for the first time, make sure you subscribe. We are on the DC4L network on the DC4L Facebook group hosted by Amanda Foster. So if you haven't done so already, also make sure you like that DC4L Facebook page as well. Okay, so let's get the show. Let's get the show kicked off. We're 10:20. I'm gonna try to get out of here by 10:40. First thing we're gonna start off with is our injury report for this week. And we talked about this a little bit last week, how they have a MASH unit over in New York, and the list is still getting longer. So we just added another addition to the see the backup Tyrod Taylor's out, starting tight end Darren Waller's out, Daniel Jones, the starting quarterback's out, and the starting right tackle Evan Neal is out. Just added to the injury report on yesterday is cornerback Adoree Jackson. And if you guys heard us on Wednesday, you know Adoree Jackson is the cornerback who normally follows CD Lamb. So they got a lot of key pieces out this week. Jeff, how do you think that'll affect the outcome of the game?
I don't think it was going to be too much different from what the outcome was going to be at first, but I mean, it's bad for them, good for us. But I mean, I think this should just be a straightforward, simple game. Go in, handle business as we're going to handle, on the first hand, and just go ahead and put this team away early. Cooper Rush playing in this game, Rico Dowdle playing this game is not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do what we got to do, put it away by the first quarter, second quarter, and coast on the victory, get prepared for the week after next. Not looking over them, though, but, just handle business.
Yeah, it's surprisingly a lot of Giants fans in Dallas this weekend, and they are ready for a good game. Hopefully, their team will give them a good show, but like Jeff said, I think it's pretty much not when we win by much. Right. So definitely looking forward to seeing how many extra points we think we're going to get because Adoree Jackson's out, and we'll get you guys game prediction later on in the show. So speaking of injuries, Jeff, you brought up Rico Dowdle. Got a bit of good news yesterday. We actually, Jeff and I, ran into Deuce Vaughn's parents doing a tour of the Star. Got a chance to speak to his mom for about 20 minutes. Had a brief meeting with Chris Vaughn, who works in the Cowboys front office. Right. And Deuce Vaughn will be active this week for the first time in a couple of weeks. And the reason for that is because the only person on our injury report is Devontae Turpin, starting kick returner, punt returner. They have him listed as questionable.
He won't play.
Yeah, he has not practiced all week. More than likely, he won't be playing today. So, Jeff, I know you're excited about seeing the chance to get Deuce Vaughn on the video. How do you feel about having that opportunity?
Oh, I think he's gonna, take advantage of the opportunity. I mean, Deuce Vaughn, we didn't expect him to come in and be what Zeke was. I think that would be asking too much of anybody. But Deuce Vaughn, he reminds you, he puts you in the Darren Sproles mode. Very low to the ground, center of gravity, hard to tackle, shifty. I think he's going to take advantage of this. I think we're going to see him a lot in the Turpin role for his returning kicks and punts. And I think we're going to see a lot of them on offense. This is definitely a game where we should give him some spin and, let him get his feet wet, kind of let him get some of the action too.
Yeah, exactly. And his mom also gave us a little bit of a nugget yesterday. She told us if he would have gone undrafted, he was more than likely going to follow Sean Payton to Denver. And
Hmm.
Jeff brought up the Darren Sproles role. That would have been a perfect fit for him. But we got him in Dallas, and we're glad to see what he can provide to the team.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to keep the show moving along. And once again, I see we got a lot of people watching, but nobody's coming. So if you're watching with us right now, get in those comments. Let us know. See, we got my guy Mendoza joining. Appreciate you tuning in.
What's good, Mendoza?
So yeah, looking forward to seeing a good game. The views are still going up. We got a bunch of views. We got only one like. So make sure you guys help keep our engagement going so that
Yeah,
we can
get those
build
likes up.
yeah, we can build the DC4L Nation. Let's get those likes to match those views. All right, so just let's keep the show moving. And we're gonna go now to the keys to victory. Now, normally I like to give four keys to victory to determine the outcome of this game. For this one, I only have four words for you guys. Take care of business.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
we ain't got to dig in the weeds on this one. They're decimated. We're playing at our best. Do what you need to do. Go back home and let's have a good game and get ready for Carolina. I mean, Jeff, you got anything you want to add to that?
Nah, I mean, don't beat yourself. As a history, we have a tendency to playing down, and I hate to say down to our opponent, but games that are on paper and that we obviously should win. I don't know. Sometimes our team tends to play down to those opponents, and they maybe come out and I don't know if they're overlooking them, and they may not look their best. So I mean, and take care of being that's perfect. Come
Yep.
in, get the job done. By second half, we can rest Dak. Like I said, if you see Cooper Rush or even Trey Lance, I know there was a talk Wednesday. If we see Cooper Rush or Trey Lance in this game, that is not a bad thing at all. Like I said, this would be a time for us to get some of our inexperienced guys some more reps. I
Hmm.
would like to see a lot of Jalen Tolbert in this game.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, take our beats. Like I said, not overlook them, but get this win in the bag and move on to Carolina.
Yeah. I see we got a few new viewers joining us. Like Mendoza said, we're looking for a drubbing today, so we definitely want to see
Definitely.
this team get it done early and often. How's it going, man? We got Delvin Snellings joining us. He's saying Deuce run the ball.
I
Definitely,
like that,
hopefully see.
Devin.
Yeah, hopefully we see the Deuce get loose today in this game. We also got Dominique Graham. Looks like a new name, so thank you for joining. He says he wants to see the backup dancers in by the third quarter.
I like
Hey, how's
them.
it going? Yeah,
Bag of dancers.
yeah. I mean, as bad as this game should be, we might be able to see a couple Cowboys cheerleaders put a helmet on.
Yeah,
That's what
that'll
I'm
be great.
expecting.
That would be
And
great.
then we got Justin Perry joining us from West Virginia. Thank you for joining, Justin Perry.
What's up, Justin?
And Dominic Graham saying like to see Trey get some snaps. We talked about that on the show Wednesday whether or not the team should should or shouldn't make Trey Lance active player this week. And
Mhm.
I'm about to pull up the actives and inactives right now just so I can take a look. Okay.
Yeah, why are you pulling it up, Marcus? I
Yeah,
think
appreciate that, Jeff.
piggybacking off what we talked about Wednesday, I think this would be a perfect game to activate Trey Lance, even if we have to go short in another area. Um, we have to make a decision on Trey Lance next year, and it's going to be at least a $20 million decision. And we're on the hook with Dak for 40 million. Cooper Rush is another 1 or 2 million. That's a lot of money tied up in quarterbacks. So just looking at that money, somebody is going to be out the door. And in order to, our fans harp on Dak a lot. If we push Dak out the door, we got to know what we got in Trey Lance. We know what we kind of got in Cooper Rush, a game manager, not really going to lose the game, but not really going to win it. But Trey Lance is what, 23, 24. His future is definitely in front of him. We need to know what we got in him. And so in some of these games that we feel like we got good blowouts and stuff like that, I think we should make him active, let him get some reps, and that way we can at least see, what the future could possibly hold. Because, you know, we've been talking about extending Dak. He's been playing well lately, but we know how Dak can go back and forth sometimes. And if we decide to move on from him, we need to know what we got in Trey Lance for the future.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find the actives and inactives list for this week. So if you guys know who's active and inactive, get in the comments and let me know. Yeah, I'm doing a podcast right now. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys know who's active and inactive in the comments, let me know so that we can share it with the rest of Cowboys Nation. Hopefully, Trey Lance is active so we can see him a little bit in the third quarter. Ryan Solo says it's Turpin out. We
Most
don't.
likely Turpin will be. Most
More than
likely.
likely, he will be out. Yes.
I don't think this is a game. Not saying that we wouldn't need him, but if he got any inkling of an injury, let him rest this game. We got Deuce that can handle that. We also got Rico Dowdle that can handle kickoff return. So let those guys get some reps and some runs, and let Turpin get healed up so that we can have him for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and just like Devin Snelling saying, let's let him get his feet wet. This is no better game. Decimated secondary. Quarterbacks playing at their best. Our offensive line is starting to jail, so he should get some time to throw the ball. We'll get a good opportunity to see what he looks like playing in a real NFL game with this team. Okay, guys. So while we keep doing that, I'll keep looking for the inactives. But while I do that, let's go on to the next segment of the show, and that is where you guys get a little bit more interactive. And I want to get your game predictions for this week's game. So fill the comments up. Let me know what you guys think will be the final score outcome. And Dominic saying this week and next week we should be able to see what we have at depth on the roster. I think the Cardinals. I mean, I think the Panthers may give us a little bit of a fight next week. Uh, I think it'll at least be competitive because their offense can do some stuff, and their defense is very underrated. But
Very.
this week, I mean, we really should have a chance to see what our backups look like. And Patrick, we saying we can beat the Giants. We definitely can. So, game predictions, guys. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think the final outcome of the game will be this week. Jeff, start us off. Let me know what you think the score is going to be in this week's game.
Yeah, I hate to sound cocky, but I think we easily put up another 40 burger. I think the only difference in this game, we may let them get a field goal or two. So I'm thinking 42-6. I just don't think it'll be close at all. I don't. It. I guess in a Cowboys disaster, it could be close, but I just don't see us playing down to this. If we've been, like you said, we've been in Dallas this weekend. The hype is around there. We went to the Star yesterday. People seem engaged. Some of the players were still there
Yeah,
doing some walkthroughs when we was there. Of course, we couldn't interact with them or anything, but I think they're really dialed into this game, and they don't want to relive that history of playing down to their competition. So I think
yeah,
40 plus, easily 40 burger. They may get a field goal, maybe one touchdown, but I still don't think it'll be close.
yeah. And on top of that, to add on what you just said, they're still pissed about that Eagles game.
Oh yeah,
Like,
definitely.
like normally after a loss like that, you'll get a lot of people giving you the political. They played a good game. We have to come back to the drawing board. You really didn't hear a lot of anything this week from the Cowboys in
You
terms
didn't.
of players giving feedback and sound bites. When you don't hear anything, that lets me know they got back in the lab and they're working. So I
Yes.
feel like they're coming to unleash this week and show them that they are a dominant team in the NFC East, despite what a lot of the media people want to say in terms of that last week's game. So we got some blowouts coming in. I got my guy Raphael joining us saying 56-7.
What's up, Ralph?
Got Brandon Boyce 34-9.
3 field goals on Brandon.
Yep. Mendoza got 42-10. Dominique Graham bring up a great point. I want to see we talking offensive depth. I want to see linebacker depth moving deep into the season. Well, I think you really mean safety depth because
Well, Mark,
all of our linebackers are safeties. Go ahead, Jeff.
let me jump in on this. So, speaking of that, Dominic, you brought up a great point. I did see earlier that we're bringing up Rashad Evans from the practice squad, so he will be active, and he's probably going to be getting some game reps today in middle linebacker. I think that'll be good because obviously one of the big keys to the game is stop Saquon Barkley, and we've done it without any linebacker help in the middle, especially a linebacker like Rashad Evans. So you stop Saquon Barkley, you pretty much stop the Giants. If Danny DeVito beat us, I'm sorry, Tommy
Tommy
DeVito.
DeVito.
I'm sorry. If Tommy DeVito beat us, then hey, it is what it is. But yeah, to stack
Yeah.
the box, let him get some reps. We just signed him 2-3 weeks ago. Let him get his feet with some game action, and like I said, go ahead and secure this victory.
And one thing we learned about the Giants head coach, he does not believe in pulling starters in a blowout. So Saquon Barkley is gonna probably play, even if it's a blowout, until the end of the third quarter. So you
Yeah,
put your linebackers in, you're gonna give them a chance to get some reps against a legitimate number one running back. So definitely, this is a good game to do that in.
yeah.
And then some of you guys may get your wish and get to see Mozzie Smith playing in an extended period of time as well, since we're talking about defensive line play.
Yeah, we've been giving Maz a hard time these last,
Yeah,
or this whole year, really.
yeah, appreciate it, Raphael. Appreciate your support. We're at 10:35, 16 minutes into the show. Let's get a couple of more game predictions in, and then we'll move the show along. We'll be out of here by 10:45. Let's get
Mark,
one more game prediction.
let's get your game prediction, Mark. You hadn't said what your game prediction was.
Okay. So I mean, this game, it's hard for me to give a game prediction because I don't know when the backup's gonna come in. Now, I think the defense is gonna score a touchdown just because this team is just that bad. So that'll give you 7. I think the offense will probably put up about 31. The starting offense, so it gives you about 38. So 38 plus how many points the backups give you. I'm gonna give them 10. So 48 points for Dallas.
Give us the 40 burger.
I'm gonna give them 48 for Dallas, and then I talked about this on the show Wednesday. Tommy DeVito is a 4-5 young athletic quarterback. I think he's gonna be running for his life, and I feel like they may underestimate his legs, just like how the Giants kind of drove the ball early in the game the first time we play them. I can see Tommy DeVito getting 1 or 2 drives like that, where we get cocky, we get out of our pass rushing lanes, and he bites us for a couple of chunk plays. So I'm gonna give him 10 points. I'm gonna give him a touchdown and a field goal. So 48-10 Dallas.
Okay, I can roll with it.
And Dominique Graham asking a great question. Dominique coming with the good questions today. Make sure you join us on Wednesday nights at 8:30 because the DC4L fifth quarter podcast is fueled by great comments like the ones you're leaving. So he asked a question about what happens to cornerback depth. Jay Lubin getting beat on some plays that I've seen him pre-injury. Well, we got Izzy, who's on the team, Israel Mukwamu. He's been a weekly inactive. Hopefully they start to get him into the lineup a little bit more. We also got Wright that we haven't really seen play on defense. He's been mostly doing it on special teams. So hopefully he gets a chance to get some defensive opportunities this week. And then we still got Eric Scott. Like, I don't know if you guys remember last year, but when Deron Bland was the fifth round guy that nobody knew about, it was about this time a year before he got the opportunity to play. And from there, he ran with it. So we could be at the time of the season when Eric Scott, fifth round pick out of Southern Mississippi, gets an opportunity to play and makes a couple of plays and has a chance to become a key contributor in our secondary for the second half of the year. Anybody I
Well,
missed, Jeff?
no, I just want to make this. If we got any Cowboy coaches or anybody listening to the podcast, let's try because if you've been following the Cowboys since they drafted Deron Bland, he was drafted to pretty much play slot.
Yep.
He had the ability to play inside and out. So I would love to see us in our defense experiment with bringing Easy in and let him play that outside and move the run in to the slot on with three receiver sets. I believe that will really solidify our defense. I love Jay Lou, but he's obviously lost a step. I don't know if it's confidence, it's physical, but you're not kicking them off the team or anything, but you're just seeing what you got with some of these younger guys. I love Izzy's game. I love the physical nature, and I feel like any receiver that plays strictly on the outside, he could easily take them out. And then you move the run, who is arguably coming one of the best corners in the league, into the slot with his natural position. And then you got Gilmore on the other side. So if any of you guys are listening to that, maybe I should have tried to kind of throw that to Chris Vaughn
Chris Hudd,
yesterday.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that would really add a new element to our defense.
yeah, definitely. And I hope we see Eric Scott too because the kid has talent. Um, he was compared a lot to Deron Bland, so I would like to see that on the field to see whether or not it's true.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, Dominic saying he wants to see guys get some reps this week. I hope that that's the case. All right, guys. Dominic saying totally agree. We did the same thing with Byron when he was with us. Yeah, you're definitely right about that.
One is Dominic in Dallas. We need to get up with you, man.
Yeah, Dominic, let us know where you tuning in from. And once again, if any of you guys are in Dallas this week for the game and you want to hang out with us, we'll be walking around the stadium. We'll be in the Miller Light Center until the game starts. And I think we're
Yeah.
sitting in section 117 during the game. I can confirm that later if anybody wants to try to come and kick it with us. We're at 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Got two more segments. He says he's always in South Carolina, but he's always in Big D.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, be sure to stick with us on the show, Dominique. I always appreciate knowledgeable, loyal fans who can provide something to the fifth quarter podcast. He's another person saying he'll be at the Eagles game, Jeff. I think we chose the wrong game.
Well, we went back and forth with that one for a
Yeah.
while. Hey, I'm enjoying myself this weekend. I'm down for another trip.
I don't know if my pockets will enjoy it, but I look into it.
Yeah, definitely the pockets.
All right, let's keep the show going on. We're going next to our bold predictions. I see my guy Raphael getting his bold prediction out early. 10
Woo.
sacks with Micah getting 5 of them. That's definitely a bold prediction for this week.
It's gonna be hard to do when he ain't playing by halftime. Wow, 10. Wow.
My bold prediction is gonna be we'll have 3 receivers with over 80 yards. I'm not bold enough to say 100, but I think we can get 3 receivers over 80 yards this week.
Um,
What you got, Jeff?
My bold prediction is we won't see our punter any this week.
Okay.
We
No
will not
punts.
no punts this game. No punts.
Raphael saying he'll get them by the second quarter. He putting in work early, I see.
Often and early, the line
Yep.
always hungry.
Brandon Boy saying Rico Dowdle 115 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. Getting super specific, 4 receiving yards, 45 receiving yards, 4 catches, 1 touchdown. Sounds like you got your fantasy favorite picked out too.
So Brandon, I got a question for you, and get in the comments and answer this. So if that's going to be Rico Dowdle's numbers, what Tony Ballard numbers are going to be like?
That's a good question. All right, Dominic saying I think we get 3 turnovers and B Cooks goes off. I mean, at this point, the Giants are down to their 4th, 5th, and 6th corners. So if somebody else doesn't go off, we got some problems to talk about on Wednesday night.
Yeah. So Dominic, you bring up another good point. B Cooks, everywhere he's gone, he's been 1,000-yard receiver. I'm talking about with some. I probably played quarterback, and he had 1,000-yard receiving. I don't feel like we're using him enough. Marcus will tell you every game. I say at least take a deep shot to Cooks if it don't do anything but bag the defense up. It's no use in having all this speed and just have him out there for nothing. I love what we're doing with CD, but I really would like for us to get Brandon Cooks more involved just because the man is too talented for us to just be wasting him with what he's doing. It's no reason he should have his week, whatever, and he got like 200 or some yards. Come on, 300. We need to use him a lot more. So I hope you're right on that one.
Yeah. Justin Perry saying 1 pick six and 2 fumble recovers today.
Fantasy
That's,
favorite.
that's definitely that definitely can happen this week. Because one thing I've noticed about Tommy DeVito, and I said this Wednesday night, when you look at him play, he reminds me of being DiNucci without the 3-quarter side-on throws. He's gonna run around. He's gonna throw it in the ugly pockets. He likes to throw the ball deep. So he's gonna be kind of careless with the ball, running it and passing it. And I think with our corners, we're going to have opportunity for some turnovers. On top of how bad their line looks and how great D Law normally plays in the Giants game, added on to Michael Parsons and all the other pass rushers we got. So that's definitely a opportunity. All right, Dominique Graham. We'll answer this question, then we'll end the show with our fantasy favorites. So Martavis Bryant is a former Clemson Tiger. He's 6'4", about 215. He's got a 6'10" wingspan, which is I think one of the reasons they brought him in. He's a great height, weight, speed guy. He dealt with a lot of off the field problems with marijuana use. They got him kicked out of the league early. I think he can provide us something on this team. I don't think we'll be able to see him for another 3 weeks because once again, you got to get into football shape and you got to learn the playbook. You can't just throw a guy out there and just let him play backyard football in the kind of scheme we run. So I think if he can give us if he can get to a point where he can give us 2 to 3 catches a game, that is more than what you can ask for. Now I feel like if given the chance, because of his intangibles and how dominant CD Lamb has been along with the tight ends, I think he's one of the few receivers who's good enough to take advantage of a one-on-one mismatch,
Oh,
which is
definitely.
something that seems like we don't have right now in Dallas. So I think that's kind of the reason he's been brought in. And even with that, he can give you another chance to open up stuff for a guy like a Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, Michael Gallup, because he's going to draw some attention sometimes with his physical nature.
Yeah, and let's address the elephant in the room. Another reason he was brought in, that was a direct shot at Michael Gallup. Come on now.
Yeah,
I love Michael Gallup, but his game has been lacking since that ACL recovery, ACL surgery. Them bringing him in was a direct message to him to step your game up. So
uh huh,
I definitely look for Michael Gallup to improve his game over the next however many games that we got. And if he don't, I mean the writing is on the
uh
wall.
huh,
You still got Jalen Tolbert who is chomping at the bit as well.
yeah.
Mhm.
If you want a good NFL comparison to Martavis Bryant, Dominique, I would say now I'm going back because when I look at guys, it immediately flashes what they remind me of. The Chargers used to have a wide receiver named Tyrell Williams.
Oh yeah, number
It
16.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. And if you want one that's still playing right now, when he was in Clemson and he graduated, the guy they brought in to replace him was Mike Williams, also currently with the Chargers.
Mhm.
So if you know who Mike Williams is, that's a good NFL comparison for Martavis Bryant. Um, Later on in his career, he could still give you that type of ability when given the chance. All right, guys, we're at the last segment of the show, and that is our fantasy favorites. During this segment, before we get out of here, give you guys a chance to set your NFL lineups. We're going to give you a couple of fantasy guys, not necessarily the top guys, some guys you need to use in your roster on bye weeks, or if you're having trouble deciding on a bench guy or a starter. These are a couple of guys we pointed out with some really good matchups this week. If you follow the 4 running backs I gave you last week, 3 of them went off. So I hope you guys are watching the fifth quarter podcast to get our fantasy favorites. Jeff, since you're the guest, we'll let you give your fantasy favorites first in case I took a couple of yours.
No, you good. Well, I'm gonna go a little bit against the grain, and most times the fantasy favorites are a player. So my first fantasy favorite is going to be the Raiders defense on Sunday night. They're playing the Jets. Max Crosby is playing out of his mind. Zach Wilson is hot garbage. I mean, I mean, 20 points easily. So I would definitely go with them. Another fantasy favorite I got, I want to say Chris Olave with the Saints. Joshua Dobbs has come in and given the Vikings a little bit more spark. And I think the Saints are going to have to score some points in their game. So I'm expecting to see a lot of back and forth in their game. And I think Chris Olave, although he only has one touchdown this year, I think you're going to see a breakout game from him as well. And then my last fantasy favorite, I got to go in a shootout. I got to ride the high from C.J. Stroud from last week. They're playing the Bengals. I'm expecting a lot of scoring, although Jamar Chase is kind of banged up. T. Higgins is out. When you play the Bengals, you're going to have to score some points. So C.J. Stroud is probably my last fantasy favorite. Look for another 35 plus game from him.
Okay. So luckily Jeff didn't take any of my fantasy favorites for this week, so I can go through all mine. The first one, and I hate to tell you guys, Jameer Gibbs has been fool's gold the past 3 weeks. That is David Montgomery's backfield. If he's playing, he's working. They got an old school coach in Dan Campbell. He believes in giving it to a hard nose between the tackles running back. David Montgomery is going to get some work this week. He's going to get all the goal line carries. Look for a big game for him in this week's game. And also, they're trying to keep that number 2 seed in the
Mhm.
NFL. They're playing the Chargers. The Chargers play one of the softest run defenses in the NFL. They play a very soft cover too. So when you got a hard nosed running back like that, he's gonna get 5 yards before he gets touched. David Montgomery should have a great week. A guy that I thought Jeff was gonna give, because this is one of his favorite players, and that's Tank Dell for Houston.
Hey, I said C.J. Stroud. Somebody got to throw Tank the
Yeah.
ball.
So CJ Stroud coming off a great game last week. Tank Dell was a recipient of that, as well as Noah Brown and Nico Collins. He was spreading that thing out.
Yeah.
Nico Collins is out this week, and they're playing against Cincinnati, who has one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL. Cincinnati is trying to prove a point right now. So Joe Burrow wants to show people he's healthy. So he's going
Mm-hmm.
to be throwing that thing around the field, and CJ Stroud is going to have to play catch up. So they're definitely going to keep that ball going around the field. And I think Tank Dell is going to be a major recipient in that offense. And then the last one I got for you guys is DK Metcalf. He's been out a couple of weeks, and they are playing against the Washington football team. Their quarterback had an awful game last week. I think they try to turn it around. And we talked about CJ Stroud having a good game. Sam Howell has started to come alive for the Washington football team.
Right.
I think the same way Houston's going to have to play catch up, Seattle's going to have to play catch up as well. And I think DK Metcalf is going to be a major recipient of that. And they do not have a corner that can match his speed. So I'm looking for a couple of deep balls thrown DK Metcalf's way.
Yeah, and then Washington just got rid of their bookends too.
Yep.
So I mean,
Thank you,
they
Joe.
sh-
Good point.
they should have Seattle should, although their
Offensive
tackles
line,
are
not the
okay.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, they should have time because I mean, anytime you take Chase Young and Montez Sweat out of
Right.
the equation, yeah, that should definitely your offensive line should definitely give you time. So yeah, I like that fancy favorite.
So yeah, if you guys haven't set up your fantasy lineups and you have these guys we mentioned on your teams, be sure to check the waiver wire, check your bench, get those guys in your starting lineup. All right, guys, that's pretty much all we got for this week's show. Jeff, since you're the guest, we'll give you the closing remarks, and then we'll get in the van and head over to Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah, well, not really a podcaster. I talk a lot of football and watch football. I've been a Cowboy fan all my life. Marcus is trying to get me into podcasting, so maybe this is my second or third time being live with him. So maybe I will get into it. But yeah, I mean, it's Sunday. It's football Sunday. If you're a Cowboy fan, it should be a great day. Uh, Although I guess we got to wait till 3:30 though. But it gives you time to get your beverages and different things together. But this should be a great day for football if you're a Cowboy fan. Definitely.
All right, guys, well, that's it for this week's show. Thank you guys for joining us. Some of you guys for the first time, and some of you guys, some of our loyal followers. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like button. I see the likes are matching the views right now, so that's great. Go to our YouTube channel, Bluff City Cowboys on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 1,000. Your engagement fuels the nation. And we will see you guys this Wednesday at 8:30 Central Standard Time for the episode of the Fifth Quarter Podcast, where we'll be celebrating a Victory Wednesday. I'm not even saying if. We're going to be celebrating a Victory Wednesday, and we'll be looking ahead to next week's game against the Carolina Panthers. So,
Thank you for having me too, Marcus.
oh man, no problem. Appreciate you joining me today.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all your support. We'll see you on Wednesday. And as always, let's go Cowboys.